All right, come into the room, come into the room. The gospel song for today is higher, 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 higher. Lift Jesus higher, and you go lower, 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 lower. Stalk the devil lower. But my favorite part was always super, 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 supernatural powers. Okay, great, awesome. So I like to do a little gospel song as you come into the room, okay, because it just reminds me of when I actually had that strong just love of gospel music. And I still love gospel music. I do. But, you know, I remember when it was like, woo, you know, gospel music. Okay, so I like to bring y'all in with gospel music because, you know, why not? Praise him. Praise the Lord. Okay. This is a tough subject, guys. This is a tough subject. And, you know, I don't know how many people are going to join me today, but I know that this video is going to reach people inevitably, eventually. And that's the hope and goal. And so, you know, I was like, it's time. I've been sitting back on it, you know. As I've stated to you guys before, I did a video about colorism with the real Ariana. And you can look her channel up. And it's a really great informational video. And so it really annoys me, right, when we have these conversations about structural systems of oppression and people want to insert their personal experiences, right? There's so many things. There's so many things. One, I'm just going to start and keep it going. I want to let y'all know that I always aim to have a safe space for Black women, for Black people, for women. But this may be more of a brave space because I'm going to be coming from my point of view, but also I'm going to be coming with facts, right? Hey, Alexi. Hey, come into the room, come into the room. Okay. I'm going to be coming with facts. And it's very important that we understand the difference, right, between our personal opinion about something and facts. Okay, so let's get into it. You know, I be on Clubhouse. You know what I'm saying? I be on Clubhouse. And I don't be liking the conversations. You know, I'm not going to lie. There's been some healing conversations, as always, and I've said that before. But, I mean, a lot of them, it's a lot of clickbait, right? I think I told you guys before, there was like a room about being pro-Black and interracial marriage. Nobody on the panel was pro-Black in an interracial marriage. Nobody on the panel was in an interracial marriage. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of people holding space, but they should not be holding space, right? And, you know, that's something that has become popularized and accepted on social media, but it's not something I accept. Just being honest. That's why, as you see in the banner, I only talk to men who build, right? I don't talk to men who talk about female issues, right? Female. I don't talk to men who talk about female issues. I just don't. I never have. That's why a lot of dudes be triggered. Okay, but if you want a traditional woman, all right, then you must be a traditional man. And a traditional man builds. That's what the traditional man has done. The traditional man has not spent the majority of his time in female issues. Keep that in mind. All right. But let's get to the subject at hand. Like I said, this is triggering content for some, and I'm not really sure why. I know it should be triggering for the people that it affects. And colorism, let's be clear, is discrimination against the darker skinned individuals of a race and or ethnicity. Colorism is discrimination specifically targeted towards the darkest members of a race and or ethnicity. And that is the definition. That's what scholars and teachers and academics, that's what they use when they speak globally about the global phenomenon and impact of colorism. See, I know it's hard for a lot of people to understand, but if something is affecting me or I feel it's affecting me, can it possibly be affecting other people? Do other people exist? Yes, they do. And so, Americans are not the only people that experience colorism. And so that right there puts a lot of these micro conversations we're having about colorism based on people's personal experiences to rest, okay? Because you have to understand that colorism is global. It affects Asian peoples, Indian people, throughout the African diaspora, any population that has Black people and different races living in concert, there's a scale, is there not? From whitest to darkest. Now, everyone knows that it's not fair for the very lightest to come in and say, hey, I've had a hard life when we talk about racism, right? Because when we talk about isms, y'all get triggered. Because when we talk about isms, we're being asked to acknowledge our privilege, okay? And that's very difficult for a lot of people to do when you're still processing your trauma. And that's okay, but you have to start recognizing that, because y'all want to watch level up videos and y'all want to know how you're going to get to here, how you're going to get to there. I promise you, baby, you got to heal. You got to heal. You got to love yourself. And now I know I look good. You gotta love yourself beyond, I know I look good. Okay, we all know that, right? We all know you look good, right? Do you feel good? Does your body feel good? Does your heart feel good? Does your mind feel good? Or do you feel like when you're in traffic, I know a lot of y'all be talking about road rage, right? Like, I got it. I'm like, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. So a lot of people are approaching this issue from a place of trauma instead of, in order to break this system of oppression that is taking the lives of the darkest people of our society, of which I'm one of them. I mean, not taking my life. No. But you know what I'm saying? Like, people my color, darker. We know this. Every society in the world, the darkest people are the poorest people. Is there a society where the darkest people are the richest and the lightest people are just the poor? Is there a society that exists like that? No, there's not. Why? Because of racism. But then why don't anyone who's not white just automatically succeed? Why is there this obvious discrepancy? Because of colorism and featureism. You understand? And again, colorism is a system of oppression. Now, some argue that colorism is based strictly off of racism, created strictly because of white supremacy, etc. Other people believe that colorism has impacted people, melanated peoples, for much longer. I couldn't tell you. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I'm still reading. I'm still learning. I'm still researching. And so You know, I heard a lot of lighter skinned people talking about, this is a damn truth. I was telling my husband this, you know, I swear to God. And, you know, we'll go into work, Black folk, will we not? We'll go into a job and you have to be buddy buddy. You have to, when I put on a show, like why I gotta put on a show? Can I just work? Right? They don't pay us to tap dance from 9 to 5, but they damn sure expect it. Right? And so a lot of times it's, Black woman, your attitude is too aggressive or you're too closed off, right? You got to be sharing what your ex-boyfriend did. I worked at a place that was like that, a restaurant. The owners were trash. I'm sorry, they were garbage. And I try to be nice. You guys know that. You guys know that. Okay, I try to be nice. They were trash. Straight up, every person that came into that restaurant that used to work there, they would come in, they would trash the place when they left. Okay. Anyways, some of the other waiters there were like, I'm sorry. They were like, you're too professional. I was like, what's going on? Where are we? I came to work to be professional. They literally told me, white women, you're too professional. You're too closed off. That's why we're being mean to you, right? They wanted me to be out in the back parking lot with them. Hey, Sal, taking a smoke break. Dude. Hi, I don't do that, right? And they just did not like me because I didn't do that, straight up. And it was constantly like, do you want to be here? Right? They want to know, are you worthy of being the token? When you're Black, when you have dark skin in these predominantly white spaces, right? They're like, do you even want to be here? Do you even want this job? Like, you don't have bills to pay, right? Like, you don't have food to eat, right? How you gonna eat your food? When every hour, some manager is talking about do you really want to be here? Why they do that to us? I promise you I never met a white person who experienced something like that. It happens to dark-skinned Black people all the time. Exactly, Alexi. They want you to fit the stereotype. They don't want you coming to work flossing. Right? I'm sorry, I love Viola Davis, but they want you to come into work like you the help. Viola Davis. That's how they want you to come in, like, yo, she's a legend. She's a legend. And that's not Viola Davis, right? If you've ever seen Viola Davis in interviews and stuff like that, she's so very well-spoken. Her voice never gets as high as mine gets, right? Her voice never gets that high. I mean, she's just such a classic, classy, beautiful, articulate, educated, experienced woman. But they want you coming in like looking around, just grateful to be there. I have to work. I don't have time to be grateful every 5 minutes for being here. Did you know that? Did you know that I'm focusing on my job? Don't like. All right. That's that. Don't like. What's my point with that tangent? That's something that dark-skinned Black people have to experience. I've had, and I couldn't believe, let me tell you something. I come from a place of trauma with this. You know what I'm saying? But I had to go past my trauma to the systemic levels of what the ramifications of this are. You know what I'm saying? You know, I grew up because I had lighter skinned family members, right? It was always, you the dark skinned sister, a bunch of dark people, a bunch of dark Black people, my color, darker, maybe sometimes a little lighter, calling me the dark skinned sister. Oh, I got all the jokes, baby. And you know it. Anyone that's grown up in the Black community knows. It was jokes. It was jokes for days. Okay? But the joke was on me, and it was not funny. I had to deal with that. And I came into this immediate understanding that dark-skinned women are treated different. So when we have conversations about colorism and we are on the lighter end of things, right? To simply look at that from, well, I was light skinned and they was jealous of me and they was mean to me, right? That doesn't have anything to do with colorism. That's your experience as a Black person, okay? And the ramifications of what colorism has done, unfortunately, right, has made it so that people who suffer from colorism feel some type of way about other people who don't. And you might feel that from them, right? Because they haven't done their healing work. That's not you experiencing colorism. All right? Again, you couldn't go to India, to places in Asia, and have the lighter skinned people there be like, it goes both ways. It goes both ways. When we were walking down the street, y'all was hating. Y'all was hating because our skin was lighter. And y'all was hating. Don't remember, it goes both ways. What are you talking about? How is it that you understand how racism works, but you don't understand how colorism works? How is it that you want to dismantle the system of white supremacy, but you don't want to dismantle colorism? So you think that that's it? You see what I'm saying? When I'm talking about, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us, okay? And you got to vouch for yourself because, you know, as a biracial woman said about when she hears light-skinned and biracial people saying it goes both ways, she said to me, it's like white tears. You know what I'm saying? Because she understands her privilege and she understands the systemic impact of colorism. It's just that simple. You have to acknowledge your privilege and stop coming from everything from a place of trauma. Not only that, but how dare you enter spaces to speak on a subject simply and only from a place of trauma? You have to heal. And now I understand why so many conversations I've had with people about this very subject in real life went left. Because they weren't ready for it, right? It's a lot of Black, lighter skinned people who will say, hey, you know, I grew up in foster care. I grew up abused. I know personally lighter skinned people who I saw being treated poorly because darker skinned people were reacting to how colorism impacts them. And so they responded, it's not right. But we have to end the system of oppression, and then you will end the ramifications. You see what I'm saying? I've talked to you guys before about the stories that I've seen and heard about the ramifications of colorism on lighter skinned people. And no, I'm not talking about Drake. I was light skinned when we was in the car. Why you do me like that? You call me light skinned. No, I'm not talking about Drake. All right, I'm talking about lighter skinned women, okay? For some reason, you know, in our communities, the colorism seems to really impact the women the most. That we can see, right? But here's when we get into the system of it all. right? If we look at the prison system, dark-skinned Black men are sentenced to longer, harsher sentences than light-skinned Black men. The same is true for dark-skinned Black women, right? Dark-skinned Black women are given longer, harsher sentences than lighter-skinned Black women. Now we're talking facts, okay? When we look at pregnancy, right, and maternal death rates, dark-skinned Black women are impacted the harshest. But please go on about how they ostracized you. Did you know that dark-skinned Black people also get ostracized in the Black community? I'll hear guys talking about it and they're like, I was in the anime. Dude, come on, man. I was watching hardcore anime. Not that hardcore. But the scary, really scary, and there was like, rah, rah, all that. Oh my God. They would watch that. Okay, we always watch Star Trek, Xena. Come on and join us. Oh, no, you don't want to because you don't like your mama. Okay, so there's a lot of you don't like your mama projection. That's got to get worked on. Can't do anything about that until you do the healing. You shouldn't be speaking on the subject to a room full of people when all you're doing is projecting your trauma, because what you're doing is violence to the other people in the room, right? Your experience with colorism, my experience with colorism was completely different. I was the darkest, of the girls. And, I was constantly told and reminded of that and ostracized and treated different, all that, yeah. Okay? I'm not going to go around and be like, they ostracized me. I'm not going to say get. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Your experiences are valid. But are they valid when we're talking about colorism? When we're talking about colorism and how it affects, like I said, go to the video that we did on the Real Ariana's channel on colorism. And you'll see the Clark doll experiment, okay, where little Black kids were presented with white dolls and Black dolls. And basically, they saw the white dolls as good, as beautiful, as friendly, as wanted, and they saw the Black dolls as ugly, unwanted, mean. And then they would ask the kid, well, which doll are you? Right? And then there was this realization with the kid as they would point and be like, oh, the Black doll, right? I'm the Black doll, right? But the whole time they're crediting all of these positive traits to the white doll. There's a lot of indoctrination and miseducation that starts from an early age. And if you don't combat it as parents, as educators, that's the work you're supposed to be doing with colorism. Your individual experiences with how you were treated being whatever color you are as a Black person, that's not necessarily colorism, okay? Even my individual experiences. I told you guys my individual experiences with colorism. I just told you. People constantly pointed out to me that I was dark-skinned and bullied and ostracized me for it. That was my experience. And so for this narrative to be put out that the Black community is just enclaves of brown skin and dark skin Black people getting together and holding hands and ostracizing lighter skinned individuals, y'all know that's a crock of bull. I think about my students and I think about, we saw that video of the little Black girl who was crying, saying, I'm ugly. You ever seen a video of a little light-skinned girl doing that? Come on, y'all insincere ASF. Or some people say AF. And I've had students, little young girls, that I've had to do the same thing with. Beautiful dark-skinned girls. No, I never had, and I've had a lot of students I've taught for over a decade. I've never had a lighter-skinned student. And from everything that I've seen when I'm in these classrooms, when there's a lighter-skinned girl there, and or she has good hair, all the other little girls line up to touch her hair and to play with her and to pick her up, and they feel ugly. That's the aesthetics part, right? When you guys want to talk about preference and you guys want to say, oh, well, y'all just using that as an excuse. What excuse? I'm telling you, it's a fact. I know people, professional, I literally was told that I was being bullied at work because I was too professional. And yet I've had one job too many where I was let go for no reason. Because when you're dark-skinned, they look for a reason. There's something in their brain. It's playtime for them. So to hear lighter-skinned people talk about that they are working in places where there are no dark-skinned people working there, come on. I heard multiple stories just today of lighter-skinned people saying, no dark-skinned people work here. Everyone that works here is lighter-skinned or biracial. I shouldn't have to have a permanent smile on my face so that I can work to feed my family. I've said it before and I've said it again. Y'all gonna have to cut the check, America, if you're not gonna give us fair treatment for jobs. This is obvious and I'm not playing around with it. Cut the check. And so let's take it back to, hi, Robert, the preoccupation and the fixation on interracial relationships. This is what I've noticed. Y'all talk about interracial relationships a lot. At the end of the day, you have people in your family, in your communities who are biracial, who are multi-ethnic, and you're constantly showing them that, hey, you're going to get similar treatment that you get over on the other side too. The way they make you feel weird, we're going to kind of make you feel weird over here too. Right? Y'all don't like interracial relationships. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Because y'all want to be in church. Y'all don't like interracial relationships. Then y'all need to build Black schools. And whenever I say this, it's crickets. I'm dead ass. Y'all need to build Black schools so that your children only go to school with each other. It's just that simple. But y'all have not done that. So then if they interact and see, let's be very clear. You can hook up, right? Oh, y'all bumping uglies with everybody, but don't you dare get married on it, right? Because that's a political statement. And what that's saying is people that's y'all under the bleachers with, y'all over here with them. Oh, but that's okay. I didn't marry you. You got kids with them. Oh, but that's okay. I didn't marry him. When you marry him, it's political. So is all the other interactions. Did you know that? Did you know having a white boss is political? Did you know that? Come on. So y'all too fixated with interracial dating. Who cares? If you're not doing it, move along. Focus on what you care about. Because what it's doing is creating a lot of complexes in biracial children. Because they see this. They see that you making spaces talking about can you be pro-Black in an interracial marriage? They're like, hello, I'm a product of that. And you guys are like, oh no, it's okay, you cool, you can come over, but we question everything your parents did to create you and bring you into this world. We question all of it, right? And don't get me wrong, it's not like the numbers when it comes to the men are not disproportionate. Y'all are upset about that. Y'all need to be real about that. Y'all upset about that. Y'all upset about that. And instead of coming to these men and telling them, you go to everybody else and who you sleeping with and who you, it's none of your business. Because at the end of the day, biracial people are part of the Black community. Why do they have to hear about your dislike of their parents getting together every time they turn around? Every time they turn around. That's all y'all talk about. Now, I've heard some biracial people say that they feel like they are a unique race of their own, and they don't feel Black or white. Then some say that they feel 50-50. Then some say that they feel all white and all Black at the same time. Tiger Woods said he was a combination. And let's be clear, y'all didn't have the problems that y'all had with this for years. Only recently are we asking these conversations. Y'all do know how many Black male leaders and entertainers are with white women, right? Been for years. Yes, it's the same with Black women. Black women have been with white men for years as well, right? This is about consensual relationships, guys. But the bottom line is, exactly, Coco Goddess, why do we as Black people always talk about this? Always talk about this, I guess you're saying, Robert. Exactly. We have other things we need to be talking about. Interracial dating happens in every community. If y'all want to see the numbers change on that in your community, start loving each other, start marrying each other, start focusing on that, start building Black schools. That's literally things that you can do. I'm noticing it's not a lot of movement and it's a lot of talking. I'm not a person that likes to do, I'm like, I got 5 million YouTube videos. I'm like, I don't like to do a lot of talking. 5 million YouTube videos talking. I like to follow my talk with my walk. All right. And I just feel like, you know, I thought that the things that happened to me as a dark-skinned Black woman were just like the most egregious things I'd ever heard. And then I talked to women who were darker than me. And my God, the things that they've had to endure. Do you know that people will be sitting next to them on an airplane and they'll be like, I don't want to sit next to this person. Move me. Dark as I am, I've never had that experience. And I don't know what I would do. Because I think I would cuss them out and be on World Star or nowadays public freakouts. You're going on YouTube, right? I would be going on YouTube. Because they try to take your humanity. And when I think about colorism, I don't even think about myself anymore. I literally think about the darkest skinned individuals. Not that I'm like, I'm light skinned. It's a lot of people that's light skinned that's not light skinned. That's all right, though. That's all right. That's all right. It is what it is. Continue on the journey of loving yourself. God damn. Don't mind me. My phone dropped. 6 people in the room. Can I get 6 likes, please? Can I get 6 likes and some support? Like I said, I know that this is a touchy topic, but I'm trying to have an educational conversation that's going to move us forward, straight up. And we've talked about it for so long as this dark skin versus light skin ish. What is y'all talking about? Y'all know we ain't on that. Y'all know that. When we get together, we're not on that. Yeah, we will bust some jokes. We'll bust some jokes, of course. But come on, y'all. It goes, oh God, I was going to say it goes both ways. I hate that it goes both ways, but the jokes go both ways, right? We bust jokes. My point is, you might feel like, oh, light-skinned people don't bust on dark-skinned people. Dark-skinned people bust on dark-skinned people. Enough for all of us. And we know this. Okay? All right? A dark-skinned Black person is going to tell you constantly that you're dark-skinned. Y'all got to progress the conversation forward. Stop letting these little girls go into a classroom and have it be revealed they haven't thought much about the things that they like because they've been so focused on the fact that they're not told that they're the pretty one. How can you make an impact now? Maybe you can tell your light-skinned daughter, hey, when people try to play with your hair, say, you know what? My mom says, you know, nobody can play with my hair, but you have very beautiful hair. Can I braid your hair? You see what I'm saying? You think I'm not going to raise my biracial child to be that way? I am. But I'm also going to raise them to know kung fu, karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu. Because it's a tough world. Okay. Exactly, Coco Goddess. Exactly. I saw someone yelling at a darker skinned Asian person, just talking to them like they were nothing. I've seen it multiple times. And you know me. You know, I'm not here for that. So I think as darker skinned people, we need to say enough is enough. I don't let people impress their colorism tendencies towards me. And let me explain to y'all how that manifested for me as a young adult. Who? What? Ed Nelson? I don't know what you mean, Ed Nelson. Don't scare me because I'll have to remove you. Just let me tell you something. I don't do, I promise you. I grew up in the hood. Anything left, I'm like, gotta get rid of it. All right? Straight up. Okay, so, you know, as a young adult, I would notice that Black men, now these are young adult Black men. You guys, mostly young adult Black men are not on YouTube. They're out enjoying the world, right? I think you guys know that. They're not in like chat rooms. I think older guys, and you're more than welcome to be here, but I think it's older men that are on YouTube. And so older men will be like, oh, I love Black women. But when y'all young and y'all in PWI spaces, think about that. Think about how you would feel if you were young in a PWI space. Okay. So anyways, in PWI spaces, it really would manifest as like dark-skinned Black men like rarely talk to me. They would rarely acknowledge my presence. I swear to God. And then when I started this channel, for people to come to this channel and be like, interracial man, you know, and I was like, y'all is literally did not, and keep in mind, a lot of times I would be with white women and or lighter skinned family members, and they'd be talking to them and not me. I'm telling you right now, I thought these dudes, I thought something was wrong with them. I was like, I guess they don't speak. I guess they don't speak because they would never speak to me. And they were always like talking in hushed tones, you know, to their like lighter skinned, the girls that they liked, you know, they'd be like, all right, you know, and I'm like, I can't hear. I can't. I promise you, I'm hard of hearing. I'm hard of hearing. I don't do the mumble rap. I don't do the mumble rap. Speak up. Speak up. Right? And they're like, I don't like this. You know, they don't like, you know, they want like the girls that are like, okay, I guess. I'm not doing all that. All right. So I found that behavior very bizarre because I was like, oh, I thought that we are adults now and like we'd be able to talk about being Black together. I don't know. And they just did not. They just did not. I'm telling you right now. That was my experience. I didn't come on here. You won't see no videos of me being like, they didn't talk to me. They ostracized me. I don't care because I experienced that my whole life to various degrees because I was poor, because I was dark-skinned, because I'm a dark-skinned girl. So I didn't care. Anytime anybody does that to me, I move right along. I promise you, it don't faze me. And people be like, I don't care. And they do. I promise you, I don't. I don't. I was like, okay, well, I had a lot of friends, yo. And they was people that wanted to talk to a dark-skinned Black girl. Anybody that wanted to be friends with a dark-skinned Black girl, we'll be friends. And I'm not gonna have some bizarre allegiance that was never built with me. You know what I'm saying? Now, as I've gotten older, I'm starting to see and feel more respect from Black guys. But of course, it's Black men that I choose to interact with as well. And I've made some mistakes because, as I've said before, I think that the weakest links are the ones that date out, because I've never seen one that dates out that cares about Black people. I'm sorry, I haven't. And you have to remember that the Black women carry the culture. Women carry the culture. I know that's hard for Black men to hear because Black men love their culture and they love being, you know, Black men and being, you know, feeling like they're in charge of the culture. But statistically, okay, and historically and culturally, women carry the cultures. They're the ones that raise the children and teach the children. And a lot of Black men use proximity to whiteness and their relationships with white people to escape Blackness and Black people and that constant reminder of what that was for them. Well, it wasn't this, even though I grew up in foster care getting my, you know, rough times. I loved my grandma. I loved my family. It wasn't this thing that I wanted to escape. I wanted to elevate everybody else. You know, I was telling my husband this. Thank you, Matt Nelson. Thank you. I appreciate it. Come into the room, say hello, give me a like. Okay, this is a tough topic, but we're going to get back into the fun. DJ Fundamentals says, across cultures, darker skinned people considered less attractive than lighter skinned people. Not saying it's right, but I noticed this to be the case. Absolutely, DJ Fundamentals. Absolutely. And again, it's not just in terms of dating and marriage, right? Where we see darker skinned Black women are the least likely to be married. So much so that people literally, every time people will ask me, like, where'd you get that ring from? My husband. What is wrong with y'all? People have a hard time believing that I'm married. And a lot harder time about the fact that to a high value man. All right. To those high figures. All right. How'd you do it? Why aren't you here struggling, trying to figure out if some dude is gonna like you? Because I figured it out. And I don't have no questions. You know, it's so bizarre because it's like, I grew up in foster care and I have more common sense than people with two parents. People with two parents will be like, oh, I didn't know. Nobody told me. Who told me? Nobody told me neither. Then I tell y'all, take a look. It's in a book. Reading Ray. All right? Take a look. Open your big brown eyes and take a look around. All right? As Kerry Washington said in Save the Last Dance. Remember Save the Last Dance, guys? Don't stop. Get it, get it. Oh. Okay, anyways. So it is real, Robert. Oh, are you talking about my dance move? She was like, right? And when he get on, he leave you for get down. Go ahead. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I had to be in college when that song was on. You in the club at a PWI, soon as that song go on, everybody turn around to you. Hey! I had to keep it moving. It's not all about your individual experience of things. Yeah, I would like to see Black men that date out. See, I could care less that you date out. Just please do more. Please do more. A lot of y'all think that just having dark skin is enough and being a man. You see what I'm saying? But it's not. It's not enough. Y'all gotta teach y'all kids Black history. Y'all gotta teach y'all kids to not support the privileges that they would receive from colorism, right? By, again, when they're young, telling them to tell girls, my mom doesn't let people touch my hair. Keep it in a bun. I know you'd be like, it's not fair to her. But little dark-skinned Black girls are taught that lighter-skinned Black girls are prettier than them. How is that fair? Who else has to deal with that? And then you want to say, oh, they masculine. Didn't I just tell y'all what they did to me? My femininity was denied to me. Denied. And having to raise another man's children as the second oldest of 5. When I got time to play with dolls when nobody's buying them. Get out my face. Come on. We got to do better for each other. Yeah, women carry the culture, Alexi. And that's just the way it goes. We just have to accept that as a people. And so the choice is yours. Women carry the culture. Men typically ask for hands in marriage. Like I said, you got about 2-3 times to interact with me, and then I need to see a ring, baby. That's just who I am. 2 or 3 times. What's that? Third date? Is it marriage or not? All right. All right. But I do things differently. Okay. It's not what, Robert? So I think it's so unfair that there's this tit for tat. You bullied me, so don't talk to me about any privileges I might experience because y'all was hating on me and y'all made things tough for me and y'all ostracized me. I think that is so unfair when you look at the history of biracial people in America, and you see time and time again, not only Black women keeping and raising the biracial children of men who assaulted them, but their Black husbands taking those kids in as well. And that has historically been the case. And if it were not, y'all would be in trouble because the white people were not going to take you in. Now, there's this bizarre narrative that all in slavery times, everyone in the house was light-skinned and everyone in the field was dark-skinned. That's not how things work. Most of the Black people were Black people. Most of the people in the house were dark-skinned as well. And so how do you think the light-skinned people were created? By the darker-skinned people being assaulted, right? And so to perpetuate a narrative that darker-skinned Black women don't understand being assaulted in that way That's dangerous and that's violent. We can't allow it to continue, guys. It's inaccurate. It's historically inaccurate and it's not right. Everybody knows Thomas Jefferson assaulted more than Sally Hemings. He was assaulting other dark-skinned enslaved women at the same time. So have some respect for history, because I think that's an amazing thing, and it historically is never done. I've explained to you guys, in other cultures, they don't do that. Oftentimes, if they have a child by assault, that child is going to the orphanage because they cannot tie themselves down. Or if they're married and they have a child and the husband leaves, the child will go to the husband's family or to the marketplace or to an orphanage, because the woman understands her very survival is tied to the man that she's with. That's how sexism impacts globally, right? But here in America, some women will be like, I never experienced sexism. So it doesn't exist because you live in a bubble, right? Those are the choices that women in other places have to make. I've heard a lot from what I was hearing from lighter skinned Black people talking about the issue is, well, I don't get the privileges of biracial people, so they get more privilege. So nobody is asking you to come forward and be like, I have the privilege of having a shade slightly lighter. Than nobody's asking you to do that. Only thing people are asking you to do is understand and acknowledge the privilege itself that exists in this structure. And maybe when you have a chance to do something about it, do something about it. Just like I do something about it, right? I do not entertain colorist people. So when guys were like, I'm not going to talk to you because you're a dark-skinned Black woman, cool. I went over to the next group of friends. Deuces. A lot of, I know people, like I said, I have lighter skinned women in my family. And then Black men will be like, oh, yeah, can you be pro-Black if you only will date lighter skinned Black women? You with somebody that is very, very light skinned, but you're better than somebody in an interracial relationship. By how much? By how much? What's the scale? Like, the point is, stop fixating on that. I think it's very obvious. Like I said, the numbers show darker skinned Black women are less likely to be married. How many of us have a lighter skinned mom, a lighter skinned grandma? Over and over and over and over again in the family. And very rarely do you see darker skinned, right, couples because of this fixation with colorism, this fixation with lighter skinned and biracial people. And the ramifications of that is hurting these people, is hurting biracial and light skinned people, because the expectations put on them. It's not fair. It's uncomfortable. A lot of them are uncomfortable a lot. I know from my lighter skinned family member women, I had to constantly get into fisticuffs because women were aggressive to them, right? I told you guys before about DJ Envy's wife, Gina Casey. Casey Gia Casey. And she was slashed across her face. And she said that they kept saying, they kept making comments about her skin color, right? This was in the Bronx during a time when people were doing that a lot, heavy. That's what she had to go through that because you guys won't stop perpetuating colorism. It starts with self. It starts with looking at yourself and saying, why do I prefer lighter skin? I had to do the same thing. I had to do the same work. All right. If you check back on my videos, I have a video called the former Oreo. I'm a reformed Oreo. Okay. It's work. It's work to love yourself. And when I started loving myself, whoo, baby, that's when I started going more heavy into this because I was like, I got to start making business for myself because I cannot continue to expose myself to violent environments where my very essence is being questioned and put down constantly because I have dark skin. I don't deserve that. I don't deserve that. And I would tell family members about how this was impacting me as one of the only dark-skinned Black women in the family. And they were like, get out of here with that. So y'all don't want to do the work. That's why you're not getting anywhere. That's why you're having the same conversations. Ain't y'all tired of this conversation? The conversation is done. Dark-skinned Black people and light-skinned Black people aren't sitting around competing with each other. We're family. We love each other. We care about each other. But we got to stop being fixated on interracial relationships when we're not in them. I think that also includes trying to get into one so bad. That's weird. I mean, I'm not a person that tries hard to like date people. I'll put it that way. So, you know, I think we're worth more and we deserve so much more than being on repeat with these conversations. It's 2021. Maybe you believe in reparations, maybe you don't. But there'll be people talking about some interracial marriage, which creates your biracial family members and friends and loved ones. Like Bob Marley, which actually it wasn't interracial marriage. So I apologize for using that example. Unfortunately, Bob Marley's mother was also assaulted by a white officer in Jamaica. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that Bob Marley is biracial and that he has multiple children with Black and white women? I don't think that their family focuses on that. It's got a big family, including Lauryn Hill's children, right? They're part of that family. And I think they just focus on loving each other. You see what I'm saying, y'all? How it happens. If you want more Black marriages and relationships, create them. There's so many Black women they live their life expecting a Black man to ask them to marry them. But as we see, the numbers are low when it comes to getting married. And, you know, I've said it before on this channel. I've talked to older Black women who, you know, you guys want to talk about dying alone, right? They were like, I really wish that I'd went out with that random white guy that really liked me because I never got married to anybody else and nobody, you know what I'm saying? Just heartbreaking. If people want to have companionship, let them have companionship. If you're so fixated on who their companion is going to be, get your weight up and ask them to be your companion because actually you've got what it takes, or keep it moving. We need to be moving on to, I know a lot of people, you know, this is also an extreme issue, but reparations. Whether you believe that people deserve it or not or whatever, y'all need to be researching colorism so that you understand that that's a global issue that needs to be worked on, period, so that our darkest skinned peoples of the world are not dying because they have dark skin, because that's the root of that issue. And that's point blank period on that. Stop fixating on interracial relationships. Focus on what you want. Focus on our empowerment and our growth. I'm a radical when it comes to the issue of reparations, and I believe in reparations. And so that's something that I've been focusing on for years. I also been focusing more on colorism on a global level and getting over how it impacted me personally and working through that trauma. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I got to get going. I will say I was watching a video of a lighter skinned woman. She's multi-ethnic. She's very attractive, very pretty woman. But I was looking at the comments and I noticed the comments that were not left by Black women were like, oh my God, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, I love this song. I love, I love your outfit, right? The comments left by Black women to this multi-ethnic, racially ambiguous woman, or you're so beautiful. I wish I looked like you. I wish I could get a fraction of what you look like. Man, y'all gotta start loving yourselves and start worrying about who Black women that's dating interracially is dating. You gotta be outside your mind. You gotta be outside your mind. You think people don't notice that? Y'all do it everywhere. Y'all idolize the preferences of the men you want. And then you turn around to women who don't do that, who simply moved on with their lives, and you try to bring them down a peg. Yeah, I don't be on dark-skinned Black women videos talking about, oh, you're so beautiful. I've seen some really beautiful dark-skinned women. You're not gonna look unambiguous, guys. Did y'all know that? Dark-skinned Black women, you're never gonna look unambiguous. I don't care how big your lashes get. You're never gonna look unambiguous. So you have to curate spaces and circles of people who love and celebrate you. And if they don't, throw them in the trash. That's what I do. That's what I do. I'll be alone on Pluto before I'll stand in a room full of males who think they're gonna not acknowledge my presence. Like, what lesson do you think you were teaching me? Because all you were teaching me was, let me go over to these dudes over here that I know is making a lot of money. They look like they want to have a conversation. That's all you taught me. That I don't want to be around men that act that way, like they're better than. I said before on the last video I did, and I'll say it again. You being a man is not more important than me being a woman, baby. Not to me, it's not. It should be to you. You being a man should mean everything to you. Be a man. But you're not going to be putting me down and think that I'm just going to be standing in the space waiting for my turn, hoping that I'll be acknowledged. No, bye. I swear to God, you ignore me. I do it all the time. We do it all the time. I do it all the time. I'll go into a store. I'll go to the counter. I'll wait. You got about minutes to acknowledge my presence, or I'm out of there. I don't give a. I remember one time I went into the store. I was going to spend big money. I went in. I was like, oh, minute's up. That minute, I got a stopwatch, like the 90s. Those 90s stopwatches in the movies where the bomb was about to go off, and they're like, click, 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 click. That's how big my stopwatch is about wasting my time. You wasting your time. You're not gonna waste my time. Click, click. You don't know how to speak? Deuces. I don't care. You know how many shops there are? You know how many men there are? You know how many women there are? You know how many people there are? It don't faze me. I find it very audacious and bizarre. And if you don't want to speak, that's fine. We'll never speak again. The first time you ignore me is going to be the last. So take back control. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry if this conversation triggered some people. You know, I'm just trying to keep it 100. Okay, Ed Nelson, we can chat. Wow, what, morbid Dom? Anyways, I'm tired of the redundant conversations about colorism. And y'all want to act like things are happening that are not happening. Talking about the same thing over and over again. Colorism is not the light-skinned Black experience versus the dark-skinned Black experience. That's not what it is. So stop. Educate yourselves. Heal. Stop coming at every topic from a place of trauma. A lot of y'all too old for that. And when I hear somebody aged up in years coming from a place of trauma, that's another one of those things I don't like. Right? Because it's like, when are you planning to heal? Oh, I got to watch on this time. When are you planning to heal? Anytime soon? Or we just all got to deal with your temper tantrums? Anybody that know me, if you haven't healed at this point, you can't be around me. I promise you. You had ample times. I did the work, and I want to be in spaces with people who are doing the work. That's it. So the Bob Ross thing. Who's Bob Ross? All right, I think that's it. Like I said, yeah, I gotta go. But you know, like I said, I think it's really disrespectful to make this a tit for tat when, you know, biracial people have racist grandmas calling them the N-word, racist mothers calling them the N-word. And then you want to say, well, I didn't feel completely welcomed by the Black community. Neither did I. Neither did I. It's not colorism. There was a lot of things that factored into why I wasn't completely welcomed and felt ostracized, right? A lot of times, you know how they are. You got to be the coolest, toughest person. Y'all know that. Oh, Bob Marley. He said Bob Ross. Yeah, Bob Marley. Yeah, Bob Marley is biracial. You know, a lot of people, a lot of our you know, our greatest contributors to Black culture are biracial. And we welcome them with open arms, but we're constantly questioning how they were created. It's just disingenuous at this point, guys. Y'all know damn well how they're created. The majority are born to Black men and white women, and that's a statistical fact. If y'all don't like that fact, then change it. Why are you still talking about it like you don't know what's going on? Because you do. And it's that fixation with proximity to whiteness and what that means. And, you know, I have to deal with that myself as well. I'm not perfect. You know, I grew up rough. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in foster care. So I'm not trying to be doing none of that no more. Point blank. You know what I'm saying? And so I have a ferocious attitude towards not struggling that a lot of other people don't have. But I'm not going to apologize for that. But I will acknowledge, right, the little bit of privilege I may get, but it's not a lot. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. As a dark-skinned Black woman, I don't have a lot of privileges. But, you know, I'm willing to admit, I'm willing to accept any that I do, right? I didn't feel driven to date outside or anything like that. I just literally interacted with guys that interacted with me. I'm not going to ask a guy out. I'm not going to like go to a guy and be like, I like you. I'm not going to do that. I know a lot of women do. You know, I remember girls were like, anyways, I don't want to be crude, but you know, they'd be like, just grab them and let them know. And I'm like, hell no. Fuck. Y'all really think this is a game? I have to be taken on a date. I have to have flowers. Of course, they don't know how to do that. And so I wasn't getting what I wanted. And I've said this before on this channel, and it's the truth. Anyone that watches knows this. I was going to go to a nunnery. I was going to get thee to a nunnery. I was going to join a nunnery because I grew up in Catholic school, and I was just like, I'm just tired of it. Like, and I just started dating. I didn't date for very long. I dated for like 2 years and before I met my husband. And I was like, what is this? The ghetto. All of the guys that I dated, of various races and ethnicities, right? I was like, this is so ghetto, right? They didn't want to pay for dates, and it was just so weird to me. And I was like, what's going on? It's not like Dawson's Creek, right? And that was really hard for me to deal with because I know, I'm sorry, I'm telling you the truth. I was obsessed with Dawson's Creek. And I just wanted everything to be like Dawson's Creek. But don't get me wrong, like I had crushes on Black guys too, you know? I mean, Black guys are very funny, right? And, you know, when you're young, you just assume that you're going to be with someone that's Black because why wouldn't you be, right? I would make jokes about interracial dating, you know, because it was so taboo. But, you know, me and my husband were friends in college. So that's ultimately how we connected again. But yeah, I was telling my husband about this kid that I remembered from middle school, and his name was Michael. And he was very like, he was like the color of Daniel Kaluuya. Okay. And he was my first crush. And his brother's name was Marcus. And we would hang out. His siblings would hang out with my siblings. You know, we saw Amistad together and he got really mad. I remember that. And he left the theater. And I'm telling you, you know, I was completely brainwashed. I was like, what's the problem? Oh, I didn't feel, you know, I was like, we're watching a movie. I didn't know history. I was in middle school. I was like in 8th grade when this happened. But he was just a really funny guy. And I just remembered him because it was Martin Luther King Day. And I was thinking of his dad, who was a very good Black man. He had a lot of kids and he raised them all. He took care of them. And when we went over to visit, he would, you know, we were kids in foster care and he would give us food, and he was a very good man, you know? And I was just thinking of those guys and just how much fun we had growing up, man. So much fun. I mean, we just cut it up. Everything was, we had this one song called $4 in a food stamp. We'd be like $4 in a food stamp. And then, like, you know, they would bust jokes all the time. Like, one of my brothers had a big old head, you know, and they was like, yo, this dude's head, yo, and they would just be going in. You see what I'm saying? He not walking around be like, they called me big head. I mean, you just got to get over childhood. Everyone gets made fun of in their childhood, guys. If we focus on systemic issues, maybe we can deconstruct and eliminate and break down these structures of oppression. How are you going to try to get to racism before you get to colorism, baby? When the colorism is on us, it's on the communities of color and melanated peoples. It's a phenomenon that was put onto us, but we continue to perpetuate. And we can end it. I don't mean to call these guys business. I'm sure they've never seen my channel or anything like that. But one of the last times I saw them, I was like in undergrad and I was visiting home. And, you know, I saw one of them and, you know, he was working at like a Taco Bell. And we were young. So it's like, I mean, I worked at Dunkin' Donuts off campus. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I was talking to him and asking how everything was going and stuff. And he was like, you know, I got a kid and I work here. And it just broke my heart because I knew that if they had the same educational opportunity that I got because I was poorer than them, and I grew up in foster care, okay? But if they had had that opportunity, I believe they would have been going to college, you know what I'm saying? University, same as me. And that always stayed with me. You know, that why didn't they have the same options that I had? Because I know if they had the same opportunities, they would have taken advantage of it. And so that's why I advocate for Black people, the average Black people that have to struggle, and I'm going to continue to do that. All right. I hope that you guys took away something from this conversation. Leave me your comments below. Be respectful. You'll find your comment won't be posted if you're not. So I don't play a lot of games over here. I'm not for play. I'm dead serious. Oh no, I'm very serious. I don't like to use certain words. I'm very serious about this topic. And yeah, thank you for joining me. I'll be back soon. I'll see you guys.